Hey everyone, welcome back. So, in this Season 5 explainer, we are previewing an absolutely incredible 11-stop journey down the Yangtze River. Now, if you've been following our series, you know we love mapping out major transformations. But I'm telling you, this upcoming season is going to completely change how you plan your next trip to China. We aren't just rattling off a list of tourist spots here. We're tracing a massive geographic, culinary, and cultural gradient right across China's mighty heartland.
Think about this for a second. How does one single river shape the entire history of a civilization? It's a huge question, right? But this isn't just about geography. It's about tracking human progress itself. By following the Yangtze, we're tracing a continuous path from the rugged, mountainous west all the way out to the cosmopolitan ocean-facing east. We're going to see firsthand how this exact river corridor nurtured ancient empires, dictated the flow of armies, and, as you'll see, is now being completely reshaped by modern engineering.
To make sense of this epic journey, we've broken the whole thing down into 5 chapters that literally follow the flow of the water. We'll start with the vertical mountain cities, sail down the Great River, wander through painted landscapes and history, relax in the refined Jiangnan waterlands, and finally, cap it off with the global metropolis finale.
All right, let's jump right in. Chapter 1, the vertical mountain cities.
We're kicking things off in Chongqing. And guys, this place is absolutely mind-bending. It's a megacity where the normal rules of urban planning are just completely thrown out the window. Imagine a place where roads exist on multiple overlapping levels and neon-lit skyscrapers seem to grow directly out of steep mountain cliffs. I mean, this is a city where you can take the famous Lizzie Ba monorail and it passes literally straight through a residential apartment building. No joke. It is the most visually unexpected way to start our journey.
The real shock to the system here is just the sheer verticality of it all. One minute you're riding the Yangtze River cableway high above the urban jungle, or exploring the crazy multi-level maze of Hongcun at night. The next, you're heading to Zhangjiajie, walking among the spectacular sandstone pillars of Wuhan. Or, if you're brave enough, stepping out onto the terrifying glass skywalks of Tianmen Mountain. These mountains are so vertical and otherworldly that filmmakers actually had to invent another planet just to explain landscapes that look exactly like this.
But listen, you can't truly understand this wild vertical landscape without tasting the food. The cuisine here is a perfect match for the extreme geography. It's defined by intense fire, bold spice, and these sharp, sour notes that just absolutely jolt your senses awake. Whether it's the bubbling cauldrons of Chongqing hot pot or the incredible smoked cured meats of the local Tuzha culture in Zhangjiajie, the food is as aggressive and energetic as the mountains themselves. Your taste buds will literally be on fire.
Okay, so moving right along to Chapter 2, down the Great River. Get ready, because this is where things get incredibly cinematic. We're trading those chaotic city streets for a legendary Yangtze River cruise from Chongqing to Yichang. We'll be gliding right through the majestic Three Gorges, Wu and Sealing, and marveling at the sheer scale of the Three Gorges Dam. It is an awe-inspiring transition, going from human-made verticality to nature's towering geological walls.
And following the river out of those gorges eventually brings us to Wuhan, which is pretty much the exact geographic center of China. This is a massive shift. We go from spectacular nature to a location so strategically vital that empires literally rose here back in ancient times. Fast forward, and massive armies were fighting over these central waterways in the 20th century. Today, it's this incredibly dynamic hub where modern urban China, science, and deep history all converge, anchored by beautiful landmarks like the iconic Yellow Crane Tower.
Which brings us to Chapter 3, Painted Landscapes and History. This is where the river pulls us deep into traditional Chinese aesthetics. The visual shift when we hit the Anhui region is just unreal. You literally start by climbing the granite peaks of Huangshan, stepping into this stunning sea of clouds. But then, you descend into these ancient villages, places like Hongcun and Xidi. All of a sudden, you're surrounded by striking white walls and black roofs that reflect perfectly in these incredibly calm pools of water. Honestly, it feels exactly like you've walked straight into a masterpiece Chinese ink painting. It is breathtaking.
From those serene paintings, the journey takes a much more reflective turn as we arrive in Nanjing. As a former imperial capital, this city carries immense historical and emotional weight. You've got the jaw-dropping grandeur of the Ming Shaoling Mausoleum and the ancient city wall, but then you also face the very somber, heavy reality of the Nanjing Massacre Memorial Hall.
Nanjing's essence is profoundly complex.
Few places on Earth have served as the stage for both the absolute highest peaks of glory and the most devastating depths of tragedy in Chinese civilization. It acts as this powerful, documentary-like pause on our trip, really letting us absorb the weight of that history before the river carries us eastward into calmer waters.
All right, taking a deep breath, we enter Chapter 4, the refined Jiangnan waterlands.
Now this is where a huge sensory shift happens. We've officially left behind the aggressive fire and the chaotic spice of the West, and we are stepping into the delicate refinement of the East. In Jiangnan, food isn't about overpowering your senses. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a delicate art form. We're talking precise knife work, fresh seasonal ingredients, rich crab roast, soup dumplings, and the perfect sweet and savory balance of wuxi spare ribs. The culinary journey is matching the geographic one perfectly.
And as we move through this region, you'll see that each of these water towns brings a totally unique flavor to that refined Jiangnan culture. Yangzhou gives us the beautiful slender West Lake and Zhaocha, this really elegant morning tea culture. Wuxi offers the vast Taihu Lake, blending water, Buddhist culture, and a long history of prosperity. And Suzhou, well, Suzhou is all about those classical gardens, taking the very fabric of nature and distilling it into high art.
You'll quickly learn that a Suzhou garden, like the famous humble administrator's garden, isn't just, a pretty collection of plants. It is a meticulously engineered universe. Mountains, water, rocks, poetry, music, and crucially, well, actually maybe the most important part, empty space. They all come together as a unified design. And trust me, it's all best enjoyed after indulging in some of the local cuisine, like the incredible squirrel-shaped mandarin fish.
Whether you're walking the historic Grand Canal neighborhoods of Yangzhou, looking way up at the towering Lingshan Grand Buddha in Wuxi, or just sitting quietly in a traditional tea house listening to a pingtan performance in Suzhou, these experiences prime you. They give us the ultimate mental pause, a deep breath of elegance and history, right before we reach the very end of the river.
And that brings us to our final chapter, the global metropolis finale.
Welcome to Shanghai. We finally made it to the mouth of the Yangtze. This is a sprawling global metropolis where you can wander through historic Shukumen neighborhoods or the leafy former French concession, and then literally just look across the river to see the ultra-futuristic Lujiazui skyline. It's the perfect embodiment of a civilization that honors its deep past while aggressively building its future.
Just look at this ultimate contrast. Think about where we started versus where we've ended up. We began in Chongqing, vertical, chaotic, fiery, and mountainous. And we end here in Shanghai, boasting a sleek horizontal skyline, sophisticated, international, and totally globally connected. It is a deeply satisfying visual bookend to our entire journey.
And of course, Shanghai dynamically caps off our culinary progression too. You've got those famous, mouth-watering shengjianbao and xiaolongbao dumplings sizzling in pans, sitting right alongside a bustling, world-class coffee culture. Whether you're walking the grand, historic architecture of the Bund or exploring the contemporary edge of the M50 Art District, the international energy here absolutely radiates Shanghai's unshakable status as a global hub.
So, the big takeaway from this whole explainer? Traveling the Yangtze Heartland is not just about checking boxes on a tourist map. It is witnessing the physical evolution of Chinese civilization itself. You're going from raw, dramatic mountain terrain down into refined artistic waterlands and ending at the dazzling gateway to the globe.
I really hope this journey has given you a completely new framework for understanding this incredible region and helps you plan the trip of a lifetime. So I have to ask, are you drawn to the raw, fiery verticality of the mountains or the slow, refined elegance of the waterlands? Let that answer guide your future travels, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.